In this video, I'll be showing you a quick overview of the financial plans in OnePlan. From my portfolio, I'm going to go ahead and come down to my plan, click on the hamburger icon, and click Financials. Now this is going to take me directly into the Financials tab within my plan. The financial plan consists of multiple cost types, and in this particular configuration we have budget, forecast, actuals, and benefits. And within each one of these cost types, we have what we call cost categories. And for this particular template, we have added labor. And within labor are the different roles within this group that are associated to resources. We have materials and supplies, travel expenses, contract software, and other. Now you also have the ability to add in custom fields. And so out of the box, we've added a field called expense type. And these fields are editable. So if I wanted to change others to be a CapEx type of expense type, you can. You also can add in different descriptions. We also support the ability to add in detail rows, or if you wanted to add or allow for adding people to add custom cost categories as well. The financial plan also supports multi-currency, so you can actually enter in different currencies and they'll convert based on a conversions rate that you add into the system. You can also choose your different time frames of when you want to enter your financial information. For example, maybe I'm doing quarterly or I'm doing yearly planning. So I'm going to switch this to quarterly. And now I'm looking at my financial plan for the quarterly for year of 2021. You'll notice here there's a little bit of gray lines going across this quarter. And the reason why is because this particular plan is not scheduled to start until the second quarter. So it's letting you know that there are no tasks planned in the first quarter. It's only in the second quarter. So when I start to build in my budget, I would want to start in my second quarter here as well. So the first thing I want to do here in entering data is I could actually go in here and just type in, for example, I'm planning to spend $25,000 in quarter 2 on materials. I'm going to do no traveling in quarter 2 as we're still under COVID restrictions here. But I am also going to hire a contractor for $10,000 to help us with this particular plan. So you can just simply, like an Excel spreadsheet, enter in the values here. But if you come across to the right here, you also have the ability to import costs from the resource plan. So if you've already completed your resource plan, you can import that in to populate your costs for your labor. Now you also could obviously just type in the costs if you knew what the costs were, but this is a nice way if you've already done the work of building a work plan and a financial plan, a resource plan. Now I can just import in, based on that resource plan, what my spend plan looks like for these different roles within the organization. And so now we have our basic financial plan here built. What I might want to do though is copy this to my forecast so that I can compare if my budget changes as we go. So I can come into my forecast category and I can say copy. And I want to copy my budget, and I want to start this as of, I guess we started the second quarter, so let's go ahead and say, let's go April and say apply, and then we're going to say go ahead and copy. And so now we've actually copied in our forecast. So if our forecast changes from our budget, for example, let's say this particular business analyst goes to $20,000, and I thought we were going to spend $25,000 in materials, but we actually spent $35,000 in material, and the contractor actually came in less at $5,000. So we can say this is now kind of our new forecast. What's nice about this is we can actually compare this against our budget. So we can see how are we doing against that. So we can quickly see we are over the budget amount now in our forecast. We originally budgeted $14,500. We are now forecasting $20,000 for a business analyst. And so this allows you to kind of track and compare down the line here. And so you can also add in some things like variances. So if I wanted to see the value variance, so how much are we really actually over, or maybe a percentage, I could do that as well here within the financial plan. The other thing that's nice is you can actually do some grouping. So if you're looking to group by maybe capital versus expense, you can quickly come in and see which ones are what's your overall OPEX versus your CAPEX, and you can compare that as well in the system here. You also can bring in actuals from timesheets. So timesheets will pre-populate the roles if needed, or you can connect to a financial system and have that populate your financials and be able to compare your budget, your forecasts, and your actuals. And you also have the ability to come in and put some benefits. So we can come in here and say what type of revenue are we forecasting to see. So we're looking to see about $1 million in Q3 and another $1 million in revenue in Q4. We also can enter in cost savings so we can compare against that for analysis on our net present value scores. And so now we have entered in our financial plan within OnePlan. Now we can come back up to our portfolios here, and we can switch these views to see all this financial information within the system here. So if I go to my project financial summary, this is where management can come in and get a view of how much things are being spent. So you'll see here's the plan we just added, so we can see our budget and our forecasts. We didn't bring any actuals in, but now we can see the remaining budget and what the benefits are, $2 million in benefits right here in our portfolio. We can use this to group and view this by different business units, goals, initiatives, and so forth. I also can turn on the pivot chart here if I was looking to look at the details of this. And in here, I can view the different plans and the different cost types in here to see what the burn rates are for each one of these plans. Now, this is like any normal pivot table, so we can change things around and say we actually want to see the cost type. We actually want to see the cost type on top, so we want to see how much we're planning to actually spend, what's our benefits by each plan, budget, and forecast. And so we can get a nice pivot table here, and we can then export this out to Excel once we have a view. Or we can use this to do prioritization. So if we wanted to say, okay, these are all the plans I'm planning to work on, but let's say we are over budget. So let's put our budget back into here. We can use this view to start doing what ifing. So what if we don't do any of the marketing efforts, or we start moving some of these other plans out, or cancel these other plans? What does that do to my budget? So now I can see if by canceling these projects, now I can see that I'm getting closer to being able to meet my budget constraints here. I also can move these plans out if I needed to see what if analysis around this to say, well, what if, go ahead and move this out to, let's say, quarter. What if we move this particular plan out to 2022? What will that do to our financial plan? What if we move this one out as well to 2022? So we'll go ahead and move those two out. And we can start to see, we're starting to get our budget alignment here. So you can start doing what ifing now with the financials. And then lastly, you have reports. So being able to enter all these financial information into a central repository, you can leverage the power of Power BI to build all types of reports. And so we have a report pack built into the Adaptive Portfolio Management solution that provides all types of financial information. So I'm going to go ahead and scroll over to my Financial Summary View tab here at the bottom. And so quickly you'll see here I have a view of our financial summary of information on how much is budgeted, how much is forecasted. I can focus in on a specific portfolio and get information on that. I can also click on a different tab, like Financial Health is another report we have built into the system. We have cumulative costs if we wanted to see more information around cumulative costs or cost details. That's another financial report that we have in the system. So again, since this is built with Power BI, you can create all types of visuals and custom reports within OnePlan. So this is just a quick overview of the financial plans within OnePlan.